Hi, I'm Madeline from Slings, and this is my video review of the Beco Gemini carrier. I'm going to start by talking you through this carrier, talking a bit about how it feels, how it is to use, important things to notice about this that are different to other carriers, and then talk a bit about what age babies it will work for, how long you can expect it to last, the different positions it offers, and then start to put it into context with other similar carriers in the market. So the first thing you will notice about this carrier is it's relatively lightweight. It folds up quite small. This is in particular the cool version, which has got the mesh, which is a more lightweight version. There's also a cotton, which is a little bit bigger, and this cotton and a bit more padded in the panel, not the rest of it. We'll talk about more about that later, but still is a relatively small carrier for its type when you compare with other ones that do similar things to it. So I'm going to open this up. The second thing to notice about this carrier is it's actually quite unusual compared to a lot of other carriers on the market, in that it has a mismatch between its waistband and its shoulder straps. So generally carriers are either bulky, they've got quite bulky waistbands and quite bulky shoulders, which are with a lot of padding, which some people like, or they're very lightweight. So they have very little padding at the waistband and very little padding on the shoulder, which again, other people like, and that's quite a preference thing. What's different about the Beco Gemini and makes it extremely popular in my library is that it has a very firm waistband. So you can see here, very, very firm, does move, does have some movement, but really quite supportive, quite stiff. Whereas the shoulder straps they're wide, but very, very, very lightly padded, extremely moldable, extremely squishy, really, really light and soft. And really that mismatch is something that's a total winner for a lot of parents, because they say, if they try on the more bulky carriers, they say, well, I love the feeling on my waist, that feeling of support, but I don't like the feeling on my shoulders. And then they try a lighter weight carrier, they say, well, I love the feeling on my shoulders, but my waist doesn't feel supportive enough. And so this is really where Beco have stumbled upon a winner, because this is really firm, really supportive, really helps put weight onto my hips, and fits me really snugly and feels really secure. Whereas once I start to put the panel on, you'll see there's really will hug the shoulder and doesn't and will spread the weight, but without feeling like it's really bulky on my shoulder. So if we continue looking up the panel, the next thing you will notice is we have two poppers here, and the panel folds in on itself. So the Beco offers two widths of the panel, and this is the narrow panel, with the poppers closed like this, and then if we unpop, we can get to the wider panel. And this really allows your carrier to grow with your child. So on the narrow panel, this carrier will fit from just 2 weeks old, 2 to 4 weeks old. This carrier will fit really nicely as soon as baby is able to sit astride the carrier. So that's generally 2 to 4 weeks. And they'll sit in it really beautifully. And then as they grow and get bigger, it comes into this wider seat, and this will continue supporting them until they're around 18 months old, often older. I tend to give 18 months as a they'll get to at least 18 months, and then you might get further. And then the other use for this narrow panel is this narrow seat also allows this carrier to forward face. And so once they are bigger and they're on the wider seat when inward facing, we can again use this narrow panel to allow them to sit out and have a really ergonomical seat outwards as well as inwards, and it's as easy as pie to change between inwards and outwards. You can do it just while they're in the carrier, just simply by popping and unpopping and feeling for here. So that's dead easy. Let me get my newborn doll so you can see it with the newborn doll. We can pop her here. So this baby is approximately the size of about a 6-week-old. So you can see how they could be smaller and still fit in this carrier very nicely. Just going to sit her a bit deeper, and then I'm going to do this carrier up like so. So another nice thing about this carrier is it offers two different ways of configuring the straps for an adult. I'm doing it crisscrossed, but you can also do it rucksack. This is really great for if you're sharing this carrier for different shape, size parents, because how you prefer the straps is really quite a personal thing. Some people prefer it cross, some people prefer rucksack, and so it's great when a carrier offers both and does both equally well, which this one does, because then partners of different shapes and sizes are more likely to be able to share it. And then you will notice on this carrier I can pull the straps backwards, or you probably won't be able to see, but you can also adjust the strap from the other side. So if you've got the strap set up right, you should be able to pull forwards as well. On my carrier I've got a slightly older model and there's a safety buckle, but that's now gone on the newer models. So on the newer models it's just easy to undo, you don't have to worry about the safety buckle. And really that's it. One of the beauties of this carrier is it's lightweight and it's unfussy. It doesn't have lots of things to fiddle with. It doesn't have lots of bits and pieces. Oh, I have forgotten the headrest, which pops down here and also can come back up there. So will support your baby's head if they need it, and will also act as a panel extender. So again, giving you a lot of flexibility. But yeah, everything there is on this carrier does multiple things, but there isn't lots of extra bits, lots of faff. One of the real beauties of this carrier is it's really simple, it's really unfussy, it's really, really, really easy. In terms of, so we talked about a baby will fit in here generally from just a couple of weeks old. Probably not newborn, might not feel quite right with a newborn, but after about 2 to 4 weeks, usually babies fit into this really well, and then it will take you all to about 18 months. So and then in terms of positions as baby grows, so at the moment we've got the in-rib position, which is great when they're little, and then we can, as they grow, we would continue the in-rib position, but they would grow their legs into the wider seat. And then this carrier does also offer an outward position. I grab my bigger doll for that. We can sit my baby outwards, like so. And it does also offer a hip position, which is great, particularly for babies who aren't quite ready to forward face, but are going through a very nosy phase. The hip position is really helpful. And I have videos on how to do that. So let me know if you need them. And voila. So it will do forward, it will do hip, and it will also do back. And that's partly how we're getting out to 18 months, is that as they get bigger and heavier, you can pop them on your back. So there you go, there's the forward facing position. You can see we've got a really nice ergonomical seat for our baby. So they'll do front and back. And really the 18 months, 2 years, but 18 months as a general thing, is really about how wide the panel goes. So it doesn't go as wide as some things on the market like the Ergo and the Lily Baby, which go to more like 2.5. That's because they have a bigger panel. But with a bigger panel means they tend to not fit babies as early. They tend to not feel great on babies until they're more like 6, 8 weeks, maybe even 2-3 months before those babies will feel right in those bigger carriers. But they will do longer in the end. The other interesting thing to point out about this carrier is the price point. So this carrier costs £105, which makes it significantly cheaper than like the Ergo or the Lily Baby, which are its main competitors. Because it is lighter weight, because it is a simpler carrier, it is cheaper, and actually that means often when I have parents coming in that have tried the Ergo and they've said, well, I really like the Ergo, but I don't like the price, and they see this carrier, that's really interesting to them. It is worth noting because this times out around 18 months and not the other one, doesn't go up to 2.5 years. It doesn't give you quite as longevity, but up to around 18 months is the main portion which people carry anyway. So it does much the same things as the Ergo in terms of the 4 positions, and it covers the main part, the bulk of the part you'll be carrying for anyway. But really, which one is best for you between this and other brands really comes down to your body shape and how well it fits you. I think one of the real winners of this is it fits a lot of people, but it's like jeans, really worth trying on and check that you're comfortable and it fits you well. But yeah, hopefully that's helpful. So this is the Beco Gemini. I hope that has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message through the website or on here. And yeah, bye bye.